The moment we utter the word meditation, there are all kinds of misconceptions about it. First of all, the English word meditation doesn't mean anything in the sense, if you close your eyes and sit, in English we call it meditation. You can sit with your eyes closed and do many things. There are many dimensions. You can do japa, tapa, dharana, dhyana, samadhi, shunya. Or you might have just mastered the art of sleeping in vertical postures. So what is this thing that we call as meditation? Generally we assume that people are referring to what is known as dhyan or dhyana. In that context of referring to dhyan as meditation, it is not something that you can do. Nobody can do meditation. The reason why most people who have tried meditation have come to the conclusion that it's very difficult or impossible is because they are trying to do it. You cannot do meditation, but you can become meditative. Meditation is a certain quality. It is not a certain act. If you cultivate your body, your mind, your energies and your emotions to a certain level of maturity, meditation will naturally happen. It is just like if you keep the soil fertile, if you give it the necessary manure and water, and if the right kind of seed is there, it will grow and bloom into flowers and fruits. Flowers and fruits will come out of a plant not because you want it, but simply because you created the necessary, conducive atmosphere. Similarly, if you create the necessary atmosphere within yourself, on all the 4 dimensions of who you are, then meditation will naturally flower within you. It is a certain fragrance that one can enjoy within himself. Meditation and the mind. The mind does not like meditation because if you keep the body still, the mind will also naturally become still. This is why so much stress has been laid in yoga on hatha yoga and asanas. If you just learn how to keep your body absolutely still, then your mind will also become still. I want you to just observe yourself and see how many unnecessary movements your body makes when you stand, sit or speak. If you look at your life, you will see that more than half the time is taken up in these things that you yourself don't care for. If you keep the body still, the mind will slowly start collapsing, and the mind knows that it will become enslaved if it allows this. The main aspect of meditation is, right now your mind is the boss and you are the slave. As you meditate and become more meditative, you will become the boss and your mind will become the slave, and that is how it should always be. If you don't know how to keep the mind as a slave, it will put you through all kinds of endless suffering. If you allow the mind to rule, it is a terrible master. But as a slave, the mind is wonderful, it is a miraculous slave. Purpose of meditation. So what is meditation? The purpose of. If we have to look at the purpose, if you sit in meditation, slowly it will become like this. Your body's here, your mind is out there, what is you is somewhere else. Once these 3 things are happening separately, once there is a space between you and the body, between you and the mind, this is the end of suffering. Once the fear of suffering is taken away, only then you will keep your instinct of self-preservation down, otherwise you won't keep it down. As long as the fear of suffering is there, you will not keep the instinct of self-preservation down. The only reason why you are naturally not spiritual is because you've empowered your instinct of self-preservation too much. All the time it is trying to make you like a bubble in the world, separate bubble. Not willing to mix with anything. So unless you keep your instinct of self-preservation down, you will not become spiritual in any way. You will not know life as one happening. You will always be an individual, trapped. So, meditation gives you that space between you and your body, between you and your mind. Whatever suffering human beings have known, it has either entered them through the body or through the mind. Do you know any other kind of suffering? There are only 2 kinds of suffering, isn't it? Once you have a distance from these 2 things, this is the end of suffering. Once the fear of suffering is taken away, only then you're willing to venture into other dimensions of life. Otherwise, no matter what I tell you, you're only looking for safety. For most people, meditation means to close your eyes, slow down your breathing, focus your goals by repeating a phrase without being distracted by anything else, but there is surely something more to it. Let's try to get some good insights of meditation, its internals, and the benefits. What is meditation? Meditation is a practice to train your mind by inducing a state of consciousness and realizing it through rhythmic breathing pattern. As a whole, it comprises of the following sequence of events. What happens during meditation? The whole act of meditation is about making the practitioner unaware of all the distractions and make him/her focus one single thing. When you first start to meditate, you'll realize that your mind begins to baffle with your random thoughts. If you sit silently with your eyes closed and try not to think a thought, you'll probably end up pretty frustrated, because your mind will tend to wander around those thoughts and you may find yourself uncomfortable or lost in those thoughts. But that is completely normal. It's better to have a proper guidance and a pleasant environment if you're a beginner. It becomes easy to practice when someone's voice is guiding you through the steps. With ample practice, your mind doesn't wander as much, and it's much easier to follow along and not get lost in all the stories and the to-do lists and the thinking about the past and worrying about the future that we normally do. What are the benefits of meditation? The reality is that you're focusing on one thing so that everything else begins to drop away. This actually enables you to have a better control over distractions and helps in a better decision-making. A few of the mental health benefits of meditation include greater productivity and focus, less stress throughout the day, anxiety relief, and better sleep at night. Some of the spiritual benefits of meditation include greater awareness of the world around you and a deep connection to yourself and your purpose.